Hello Pokemon fans, I'm Professor K of the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and today we're going to be doing a deck profile. I know we were going to be doing N's Trade Salebinder supposedly today, but he's actually sick, so that ended up not happening. Gonna have to postpone that. But in his absence, we're going to be doing something that he would definitely approve of, and that is the Kyogre deck, better known on this channel as the Primal Fish deck. So we're going to take a look at how this deck works. It's pretty solid. I feel like it has a bunch of good matchups, but it has a terrible matchup against Genesect, so it may not be the exact play for this format, but it definitely hits hard and fast. So first we're going to take a look at this Pokemon here. We've got 4 Kyogre EX in this deck. The first attack is the only one that you're probably ever going to use on this Pokemon, and that is Water Pulse. For 30 damage, a colorless and does 30 damage for a colorless and a water energy, and puts your opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. You can attach first turn, pass, and then come back to him on second turn and attach, and Water Pulse for 30 damage, and put your opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. That way, on the next turn, you can either attach a Spirit Link on the first turn or the second turn, and then Mega Evolve into the Primal Fish. Yes, that's it right there. Behold the Primal Fish in all of his glory. For 150 damage, 3 water and a colorless, you're going to move 2 energies from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon EX. It's a very powerful attack. Now this card would be absolutely nothing if it weren't for this ancient trait up here, Alpha Growth. When you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, except with an attack, ability, or trainer card, you may attach 2 energy cards. So if you have 2 energy attached to Kyogre EX over there, and then you Mega Evolve into Primal Kyogre with a Spirit Link, you can attach 2 water energy to him on this turn. So you're going to have him fully powered up in 3 turns with all the energy necessary to use Tidal Storm. Now yes, you do have to move your energy to the bench, but on the next turn you can attach 2 more, and then all of a sudden you're able to hit for another 150 damage. So we got Primal Kyogre EX here, good energy accelerator, and a very, very hard-hitting attacker. Once you do that 30 damage to a benched EX, you're looking at possible knockouts with Lysanders on the next turn. So there's a 4-3 line of Kyogre. Now obviously we can't just depend on the Primal Fish to do the job as good as he is, so we need a non-EX attacker. And that is where we're going to come in for Plasma Kyurem. It's got 2 attacks here. You got Frost Spear that does 30 damage to the active and 30 to one of your benched Pokemon, or one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So that's a good attack to set up the potential knockout with Tidal Storm. And if you have a Safeguard Pokemon in play, your opponent's playing Safeguard, you can Blizzard Burn for 3 energy, 2 water and a colorless for 120 damage, getting that knockout on that potential threat for walling out Primal Kyogre. So it's definitely a really good Pokemon to use in this deck, and 2 of them seem to do the job. Now there's one more Pokemon in this deck, and it's more of a support Pokemon, but it also could be used as an attacker as well, if absolutely necessary, and that's going to be Keldeo EX. The main reason we're going to use him is for this ability, Rush In. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon. So let's say you don't have 2 energy to attach to Primal Kyogre to power him back up to hit again. You can Rush In, attach Floatstone, retreat into something else that's on your bench that is ready to go. And I feel like, you know, not only that, but you get out of your status conditions as well. I feel like it's a really powerful thing to do in this deck and really helps the consistency of it and being able to knock out something every turn, even if you miss an energy attachment, if you've got something on the bench that you can hit for. So that's it for our Pokemon lineup. Very simple, only 7 basics and one line of Primal Kyogre there. You got 3 of those, so only 1 evolution in this deck. For that reason, it definitely hits hard and fast, but it is a little susceptible to Safeguard without Kyurem. So I feel like that covers up pretty much all the matchups. Genesect is still a tough matchup, but at least with Kyurem you've got a Steel weakness instead of a Grass weakness. So let's go ahead and take a look at the item line here. We've got Dive Balls, as a matter of fact. We've got 4 of them. 4 Dive Ball. Search your deck for a water Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. The entire deck is water, so why not run Dive Ball over Ultra Ball? That way you don't have to discard anything. That definitely helps set up the deck fast, and well, it eliminates the need from having to throw away important resources that this deck definitely needs to do well. So we're going to set those 4 Dive Ball over here. And we also have 4 copies of Kyogre Spirit Link. Now granted, we only have 3 lines of Primal Kyogre, but that extra one adds consistency to it to guarantee that you get it into your hand fast enough. You attach it to Kyogre EX, and you can Mega Evolve on the next turn, or if he's been in play long enough, on the turn that you attach it. And you don't lose your turn. So Spirit Links are definitely necessary in this deck. We also have got 3 copies of Verse Seeker for our supporters. Put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. Not too bad. Definitely a good card to have. The only thing that hurts it is Seismitoad, obviously, when it shuts off items, but getting back a Lysander, a Juniper, an N, whatever, is definitely important in this kind of a deck. So, next item we're going to take a look at here is going to be Professor's Letter. In order to get out those consistent attacks with Primal Kyogre EX, you need to have 2 Water Energy to attach after you Tidal Storm 2 away, so if you run 3 copies of Professor's Letter, you can almost always guarantee yourself with 2 Water Energy in your hand. So you're going to search your deck for 2 basic energies, in this case Water Energy, put them into your hand, and then you can attach them both to Primal Kyogre because of that Alpha Growth ability. So that's always really powerful in this deck. Now, this is a card that probably won't see a lot of play in other Kyogre decks, but I found it useful in mine, and that's going to be Energy Retrieval. If you happen to need to retreat for any reason, or if you get knocked out, Energy Retrieval will get back the energies that you lost. Losing energy in this deck is very, very, very bad. It definitely hurts your consistency, and it really can be bad if you get a Primal Kyogre one-shot that has 4 energy on it, or anything that has a lot of energy on it. You need to be able to get it back. Not to mention, as you'll see here in a little bit, this actually plays a role in another strategy as well, considering that Primal Kyogre has 240 base HP. Alright, so for Keldeo, we're going to have 2 Float Stones. Attach it to Keldeo and retreat after you rush in. That's all that this is used for. It's your essential way of switching in and out of things, out of special conditions, and being able to get out of the active position if you don't have enough energy on one of your other Pokemon. Just in case you can't get that Keldeo out, we've got 2 copies of Switch just to get yourself out of there with more guaranteed reliability. Set that down there. Now, the way that this energy retrieval works is that there's a strategy with 240 HP that you can run 1 copy of Max Potion, and it will not hurt you to discard those energies to heal all of your damage. You have to discard all the energy, but you can get it back with energy retrieval. So if you get a Primal Kyogre that's got 2 energies on it, it has the chance of dying. You can just Max Potion away the damage, throw away the energy, get them right back into your hand, attach them to a fresh Kyogre EX while this one sits on the bench and heals. Or if it's in the active position, attach it right back to there. Either way. Max Potion, awesome for that. Alright, we're going to set that down right there. And our ace spec in the deck is going to be Computer Search, because you're always going to be searching out something, whether it's Energy Retrieval, Professor's Letter, Kyogre Spirit Link, a Dive Ball, a Float Stone, a Switch, a Max Potion. You're always going to need to look for something that's in the deck more often than you're going to need to Dowsing Machine for something outside of the deck in the discard pile. So Computer Search, discard 2 cards from your hand and get 1 out of the deck. Awesome ace spec card. Works really well in most decks and definitely works well in this one. We've got our Stadium card here is an obvious choice. That's 3 copies of Rough Seas to win the Stadium, or more times than not. Once during each player's turn, that player may heal 30 damage from his or her Water and Electric type Pokemon. So we run all Water, we can heal 30 damage on our turn because of Rough Seas. And it keeps Primal Kyogre alive as well. So that's it for our Stadium. Now, I know usually I do my supporters before the items, but I'm going to do the supporters last this time. Don't ask me why. I don't really know. I just kind of realized it as I was going, so forgive me for that. Our supporter lineup is very simple as well, in the form of 4 Professor Juniper, standard in a deck, discard your hand, draw 7 new cards. Strong card in this format, and there always will be a card like this in the format in order to get good draw. I'm gonna set this, let me move this stuff down a little bit so you guys can see the entire deck. Move that up, move that up. I'm gonna set this over here, and this down here. Alright, next we've got the next best supporter in the game right now, and it won't be around for a whole lot longer once rotation happens, I'm sure, unless it gets a reprint or something similar, and that's going to be N. You're going to, both players shuffle their hand into their deck. Then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. For those of you that play the TCG enough, you guys already know what N does. It's a strong card. It can hurt your opponent if they've taken more prizes than you, and it helps you get something that you need in the beginning of the game, especially if you don't get it. So there's N, and you don't have to discard anything to get those cards. Next up, to go along with that computer search, we've got 2 copies of Skyla. Search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. It allows you to search out anything that's down here, even a stadium if you need it. So Skyla is very good in this deck, and Verse Seeker helps you get them back if you happen to need something else. Next up, 2 copies of Lysander, pretty much a standard at any deck. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. It is a catcher in supporter form and is very, very strong. Anything less than 2 for the most part in most decks is just not good. You need at least 2 of these in most decks. Not all, but most. And in this deck, I think 2 is good. Being able to get something off the bench that's damaged and hitting it, knocking it out. We got 1 copy of Archie's Ace in the Hole. It's just too good not to run one of them. You can discard it and get it back with a Verse Seeker when you need it. You may play this card only when it's the last one in your hand. That's why it's such a hard card to run more than 1 of, but it's so good that you can't deny it. Put a water Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench, then draw 5 cards. Let me play out a little scenario for you guys. Say you've got a Primal Kyogre, a Kyurem, and a Keldeo, all in your discard pile. You can get one of them and put it onto your bench. Now wait a second. Does that mean you can take a Primal Kyogre without Kyogre and put it right onto your bench? Absolutely. It says you can put a water Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench. It doesn't say you've got to be able to evolve it. You can take Primal Kyogre, bam, put it on the bench, no evolution required, and you can draw 5 new cards from the top of your deck as well. It's just really, really good when you get it to work. So we'll set Archie up there. And finally, Headringer hurts this deck pretty badly. That odd number of attaching another energy to Primal Kyogre hurts pretty bad, so we run 1 copy of Xerosic just in case we don't get the Spirit Link attached to Kyogre in time and we get Headringered. That way we can still pick that up off of our Kyogre and be able to go on with the game as normal. Not to mention we can also use it to discard one of our opponent's tools or special energy as well. So it serves a dual purpose. Alright, that's it for supporters. And finally, the energy lineup. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 water energy. Nothing else, just water. That's all you need in this deck. No DCE required. Obviously, nothing's going to make use of it in this deck, so why bother? Just run straight 11 water energy and you're good to go. Like I said, this deck has a lot of good matchups. It has a couple of bad ones, but overall I feel like it's a pretty solid play. As long as you don't expect to see a whole lot of Virizion Genesect, you could potentially use Xerosic, pick up your Kyogre Spirit Link, and attach a weakness policy, but I just feel like that's too much, and this deck requires you to move fast to hit hard anyway. So just chance it, I guess. If you're not expecting a whole lot of Virizion Genesect, this is a really powerful, good play. Unless you're expecting a lot of non-EX decks too, but even then, 150 damage is going to knock out any non-EX that exists. So that's the deck. There's your Primal Fish deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below if you have anything to say, any suggestions to the deck, things like that. Always welcome for feedback and support from you guys. And if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more TCG content, deck profiles. Gonna get you guys some matchups here sometime in the next couple weeks. I know it's been a little bit of a long time since we've done that again, but it does take a while to do. We'll get right on that as soon as we can. And of course, we've got opening videos as well you guys can check out in the past, present, and future. So until next time, guys, I'm Professor K for the Pokemon Evolutionaries. Take care. Yeah.